Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, Santa!
Merry Christmas!
And a Merry Christmas to you!
Oh, Shari, look! Look at Santa Claus!
Yes. Come on, Lamb Chop, let's get inside. It's freezing out here. Oh, my poor Lamb Chop.
What?
That's some cold you got there.
What cold? I haven't got a cold.
What do you call all that sneezing?
Oh, that?
Yes.
No, that's not sneezing. That's singing.
Achoo is singing?
Yeah, they'll be coming around the mountain when they come. Achoo.
That's not achoo, that's choo-choo. Trains don't say achoo.
Achoo.
You see? Another sneeze. Come on, Lamb Chop. Everybody gets a cold once in a while.
Yeah, but I got mine on Christmas Eve.
Aside from that, it's a perfect Christmas Eve, isn't it? It's snowing out. Well, it's perfect for Santa Claus.
Unfortunately, I'm not Santa Claus.
Well, tonight, Santa Claus is going to bring Lamb Chop presents.
Santa Claus already brought Lamb Chop presents. 2 tickets for the Nutcracker.
Oh, yes, of course. It was very nice of Santa to send those Nutcracker tickets ahead of time.
Yes. How did he deliver them? I didn't see any elf or reindeer.
Well, maybe...
Don't tell me. Federal Express.
Come on. Blow your nose, Lamb Chop.
There. I blew my nose. Now, let's use those 2 tickets for the Nutcracker.
Honey, it's snowing out. You cannot go. You got a bad cold.
No, I just got a cold in my head.
Well, we don't want it to go down to your chest.
So what can we do?
Shall I tie a knot in your neck?
I don't think so. Let's just go get my Nutcracker. Shari, you don't want me to be the only kid who doesn't have one, do you? Sitting all alone with my nuts uncracked.
Lamb Chop, they're not tickets to get a Nutcracker. These are tickets for the Nutcracker. It's a sweet.
The Nutcracker's a sweet?
Yeah.
It's a piece of candy?
According to the dictionary, a suite is a musical composition consisting of a series of dances.
What kind of dances?
Well, the Nutcracker is a ballet, a whole story danced to music.
Who tells the story?
Nobody tells the story.
But then how do you know what the story is?
You watch the dancers.
How could they dance and talk at the same time?
They don't. They dance to the music, and when you watch them, you understand the story, because the language they speak is dance.
Huh?
Sweetheart, they act out the story, so you don't need any words.
Nobody says anything?
Uh-uh.
But I will understand the story if I get to see it.
Yeah. Because the dancers are on a stage where there is scenery that looks just like where the story is supposed to be taking place, and each of the dancers is dressed in a costume, so they look just like the people in the story. And when they dance, they do it in a special way, wearing special ballet shoes.
Special ballet shoes with special ballet socks?
Well,
And special ballet pants?
I suppose...
And special ballet shirts?
Lamb Chop.
And special ballet buttons?
What?
I have a special ballet button. Mine goes in.
No, not belly buttons. Ballet button. No, darling, their buttons have nothing to do with this. What is important is that when the girl dancers dance, for example, with the boys, they wear special ballet shoes because they dance on their toes.
Why don't they just get shorter boys?
The boys are fine the way they are. The girls dance on their toes because that's one of the ways you dance to ballet music.
I see, so this is not rap music or heavy metal or...
No. They dance the ballet The Nutcracker to music called the Nutcracker Suite, written by Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky. Mr. Kovsky.
Tchaikovsky.
How come all the guys who write music...
Composers.
Yeah, how come all the composers have such long names? Why doesn't John Smith write anything? Or...
Well, Tchaikovsky is a long name. But, you know, he was Russian.
If he wasn't moving so fast, his name would have been shorter?
No, Tchaikovsky lived in Russia. And he wrote the Nutcracker almost 100 years ago.
Wow, way!
And do you know why parents love to take their children to see the Nutcracker ballet?
Because Freddy Krueger is not in it?
No, because it's a Christmas tradition. Ballet dancers have been dancing this story to this music every Christmas for 100 years.
I want to see the dancers. I want to hear the music. Shari, I want to go to the theater.
Okay, look. I'm going to help you to see and hear everything. The theater, the audience, the ballet, the story, the music, everything.
How?
I'll tell you the story. And you just imagine what everything looks like.
I'm only little.
So?
I don't think I got it in an imagination.
Are you kidding? How do you think you make up those great stories you tell your dolls?
I lie.
I'll tell the story to you, okay? But you know what?
What?
As we imagine the story,
Yeah?
you can play the most important part in the whole Nutcracker.
No. I just want to listen. I'm sick.
Okay. Close your eyes. And imagine that you're in a big theater and the audience is now taking their seats.
Oh, okay. I am in a big theater. Could I have some popcorn? I want a Coke, too. Diet Coke, please. Hey, listen, what cartoon is playing? Oops. Pardon me, kid.
What happened?
That kid dropped his peanuts. He was picking them up. I stepped on his head.
No. This isn't a movie theater. This is a live show. Oh, look. There's a big crowd in the theater tonight.
Are we seated yet?
We're seated.
Are we enjoying ourselves?
Well, nothing's happened yet. Oh, here comes the orchestra conductor.
How come everybody is applauding? He didn't do anything yet.
Oh, they always do that.
What instrument does the conductor play?
Well, he doesn't play an instrument, but you see that little stick in his hand?
He plays the stick?
No, that's a baton.
Huh?
And he waves it in rhythm, and the musicians follow him. They don't do a thing unless the conductor wants them to.
That makes you a conductor.
Why?
'Cause I don't do a thing unless you want me to.
Oh, Lamb Chop, look! The curtain is opening, and there's the stage. And on the stage you can see the scenery that looks just like the living room of a very big house, the kind of a house that rich people used to live in about 100 years ago in Nuremberg.
Is that on Earth?
It's in Germany.
Oh, is that on Earth?
Earth. Yes, this whole thing takes place on Earth.
Oh, don't get upset. My imagination is starting.
I could tell. Okay, now the living room is all decorated for Christmas. And right in the middle is this big, beautiful Christmas tree surrounded by all kinds of toys and presents. This is the house where Marie lives with her mother and father and her brother Fritz. Now, Marie is a very nice girl.
What is she... Excuse me. What does she look like?
Well, today she has a bit of a red nose from sneezing, but she's very pretty, with gorgeous long eyelashes and beautiful curly hair.
Just like me?
Marie is exactly like you, only she's taller than you.
Everybody's taller than me.
Tonight is Christmas Eve, and her family is having a big Christmas party. Everybody is invited.
Who is everybody?
All the people who work for them, and their friends and neighbors, and all of Marie and Fritz's friends are coming too.
Who is Fritz?
Fritz is Marie's older brother.
Oh, yeah. And who else else is at the party?
Well, the most important guest is their Uncle Dr. Drosselmeyer.
Why is Dr.
Meyer.
Why is Dr. Meyer important?
Well, not only is he a doctor, but he's a toy maker, and he does magic.
Magic. M-A-G-I. Ick.
Yes,
What kind of magic?
Drosselmeyer can give things life.
What kind of life?
What do you mean, what kind of life? Living life. He can make things come alive.
What things? Is he going to make something come alive in the ballet?
Yep.
I don't want to hear about this. I want to see it.
So keep imagining, because up on stage at this moment, you can imagine that Marie's father is greeting all his guests as they arrive at the party.
What is he saying?
Hello, and how you doing? Merry, Merry Christmas. Welcome, my friends, to you. Amazing how the year has flown. Well, Miss Lowenstrauss, I see you've brought your daughters.
Welcome to our house.
How gracefully the girls have grown.
Hello, Yetta. Hello, Greta.
Glad that you were able to accept our invitation. There is food upon the table. Forget that I employ you. I am anxious to enjoy you. Join the party. Christmas Eve is not a time to be alone.
Hello, Madame and Mr. Spratt. How very nice you brought your cat.
He eats no lean, she eats no fat.
Now, how did you remember that?
Hello, and how do you do, good Dr. Drosselmeyer? I'll bet it's been a year since last you paid a visit here.
A year?
At least I fear a year since last we saw you here.
We feel badly. We have neglected you.
Though the children always ask about you, dear. Dr. Drosselmeyer, still we haven't seen you.
Haven't seen you in a year.
Every Christmas you make our party sing. All the children wait and wonder what you'll bring. Out of nothing you can make a living thing. They say Drosselmeyer is a wizard.
Yes.
And I think that they are right, I must confess. You're a magical physician, and you started a tradition of a startling exhibition. What an intermission and a wonderful addition to our party. A magician and a man of your position. I say with your permission and appropriate contrition, welcome, Drosselmeyer.
Welcome, Drosselmeyer.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Merry Christmas.
Our special friend, good Dr. Drosselmeyer.
Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas Eve to you. Now, Dr. Drosselmeyer is Marie's favorite uncle, and each Christmas he brings something magical and special to entertain the guests at the party.
Oh, good.
This year, he gets Fritz a marionette.
Wait a second.
What?
He gets Fritz to marry Annette?
Lamb chop.
Fritz is only a little kid.
Lamb chop.
Fritz can't even cross the street by himself. How could he get married to Annette?
Lamb chop. That's marionette, not marionette.
Oh, yeah, that makes it clear.
Sweetheart, marionettes are puppets on strings, and what Dr. Drosselmeyer gives Fritz are two magical marionettes.
Really?
You remember I said that this Dr. Drosselmeyer was a toy maker and a magician?
Yes.
Well, when he gestures magically, these puppets turn and spin and move and dance just as if they've come to life. Now, one of the magical puppets is a soldier, and the other is a mouse puppet with a crown on its head, and these two puppets have a sword fight as if they were real soldiers. Oh, what a fight they have!
Who wins?
You'll never guess.
The Mouse King.
No.
The soldier.
Right.
You see? I got it.
And everyone at the party oohs and ahs at the puppets.
They oohs and ahs?
Yes.
I like that. Ooh, ah.
And as the puppet show ends, the soldier puppet stabs the Mouse King puppet, who becomes furious. And the Mouse King swears that he will get all the mice in his kingdom and return after 12 o'clock this very night.
Oh, and all of that is going on a puppet stage up on the big stage in my imagination?
Yep. Now, everyone is thrilled with the puppet show, but Fritz.
What's What's the matter with him?
Well, Fritz says he thinks puppets are weird kid stuff.
Fritz is a jerk.
Remember, this is 100 years ago.
Fritz is a 100-year-old jerk.
No. In those days, boys felt that they could only play with tin soldiers or toy guns.
So?
So that's what Fritz's friends at the party decide to play.
What?
Soldiers. Fritz calls all the boys together. They'll show everyone just what they think of silly puppet soldiers. They're going to show them how soldiers really march and fight. Look, everyone's marching round the floor. Look, everyone's marching off to war. The enemy's a royal mouse. The king of mice is in the house.
He's on the stairs.
Beneath the chair.
He's just behind the door. Look, everyone's got a sword in hand. Oh, look at the boy who's in command.
He's riding on a hobby horse.
It's Fritz.
It's Fritz's house, of course, and so tonight it's Fritz's right, his right to be the boss.
But everyone knows it's make-believe.
Left, right, left, right, left, right.
Just playing around on Christmas Eve.
Company about face.
Yeah, without face. What?
Though some of the soldiers seem so bold, one soldier is only 4 years old. The boy is told that he's a scout.
Sent to find the mice and shout and wave his hat the moment that they're coming into sight.
But there is no king of mice at all.
There isn't an army down the hall.
It's all a game, and in the mime the battle will be left behind and fought no more when at the door the children say good night. Well, when Dr. Drosselmeyer sees that the boys are making fun of the puppets and how that annoys the girls, and especially Marie,
Yeah.
what do you think he does to cheer her up?
Well, it just so happens that I know a very kind little girl who's just like Marie.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and whenever I'm not whenever this cute friend of mine is not happy, a gift usually does the trick.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's just what Dr. Drosselmeyer thinks, too, because he gives Marie a gift.
Oh, what do I get? What does she get?
A nutcracker.
A nutcracker?
A nutcracker.
Not a Nintendo?
A nutcracker.
For Christmas? A kitchen appliance?
Not just any nutcracker. This is a very special nutcracker that looks like a handsome prince, holding a sword in his hand. And when Marie pushes down on his arm, the nutcracker's mouth opens wide, and when she puts a nut between his teeth, his jaws snap shut and crack the nut. Well, Marie loves her nutcracker and thinks he is the most handsome prince she has ever seen. She is so happy that she dances him around and around the stage, showing him off to all the guests. And everyone oohs and ahs.
Oh, ah.
Everyone, that is, except
Fritz again.
Fritz again. Fritz thinks the nutcracker is nothing but a silly doll. He makes fun of the nutcracker's little sword, and he laughs at the nutcracker's mouth.
Why?
Because it's fixed in a big, wide wooden smile.
I think Fritz is jealous of Marie's gift.
Perhaps so, because he grabs the nutcracker from Marie and plays so roughly with it that he breaks its jaw.
Oh, no.
And not only that, when it won't crack nuts anymore, Fritz just tosses the nutcracker aside like a broken toy.
He throws it away because it doesn't work, and he's the one who broke it?
Right.
Oh, I wouldn't care if it never cracked nuts. I would love it anyway.
God bless you. Marie feels just the same way. When she looks at Nutcracker, she doesn't see a broken toy. She sees a brave prince still standing at attention even though he's been hurt.
She's got almost as good an imagination as me.
As I.
Yeah, you got a good imagination, too. But why doesn't Dr. Drosselmeyer do something about the broken nutcracker? He's a doctor.
Well,
Oh, don't tell me. Nutcracker doesn't have Blue Cross.
well, no. Dr. Drosselmeyer does help Marie bandage the jaw of the little nutcracker with his handkerchief, you know, and they place it under the tree until Christmas morning. I'll fix it tomorrow, he says.
What about Fritz?
What about him?
He's been such a rotten kid. Isn't he going to get it? I think he should get it and be sent to bed.
Well, he probably would be, except it's bedtime for everyone.
The party's over?
Uh-huh. And all the guests say goodnight, and Fritz gets a scolding, but after all, it's Christmas Eve, and so it's just a small scolding, and everyone goes off to bed.
Without saying goodnight to the Nutcracker, if I was Marie, I would want to make sure that the Nutcracker was okay before I went to sleep.
Well, as soon as the lights are out, who do you think comes sneaking down the stairs to take one last look at Nutcracker?
If it's Fritz, I'm going...
It's Marie.
Oh.
And when Marie gets downstairs and sees that Christmas tree surrounded by all the beautiful toys, well, she just has to sit for a moment and admire how handsome her Nutcracker prince looks in the flickering light from the fireplace. Now, the tree is so dazzling and the fire so warm and cozy, in no time at all, Marie's eyelids begin to close.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, indeed. Because as her eyes get drowsier, the Christmas tree seems to be getting bigger. And the toys seem to be growing too, until that Christmas tree towers way over Marie's head. And all the dolls and tin soldiers and the Nutcracker Prince seem to be just as tall as she is. Well, this is most peculiar. Marie isn't sure if everything around her has grown up or if she has grown down. And suddenly, Marie notices the old grandfather clock in the hall. It had been made with the carved figure of an owl on top, but now, as she looks through the gloom of the darkened room, she is sure that she sees Drosselmeyer sitting on top of the clock where the owl should be. And she thinks she sees him gesture magically.
And what happens?
Suddenly, there's a noise behind Marie, a rustling amongst the presents, a nibbling from the cookie tray, and she sees something gray and furry scurry across the room.
A mouse! There's a mouse in the house.
Not just a mouse in the house, there's mice.
There's mice in the house?
Lots of them. Hundreds of mice appear.
Where did they all come from? Mice or us?
No, they come out of the walls.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, and Marie's mind immediately flashes back to the puppet show and what the wounded and angry Mouse King had threatened.
The Mouse King is gathering his troops.
Something's moving in the gloom. Tiny feet rush across the room.
Look, Shari, look.
In the walls and there behind the door, underneath the floor. What's that scratching? Frightening Marie. Much too dark to see as she sits beside the Christmas tree.
This is scary.
Something scampers near her toes.
In the shadows, nothing shows.
Every moment, more and more are there by the armchair, everywhere, every moment, right before her nose. An army grows, and it grows.
Can I sit closer to you?
And grows. trained for battle. They have come prepared.
Some of them are scared.
Hear that rattle by the window shade. It's a mouse brigade. You cannot ignore them. More and more and more. Beware. On the floor there, armed for warfare. Well, I needn't tell you, Marie is frightened.
Why shouldn't she be frightened?
Well, under the circumstances, surrounded by mice, what would you do?
Get the cat.
They don't have a cat.
All those mice and it's Christmas Eve. Oh, they'll never get an exterminator.
Suddenly, there's a great puff of smoke, and a huge mouse appears. At least he seems to be huge, because he's larger than Marie, and he's wearing a golden crown.
It's the Mouse King
He's got a bandage on his arm where he was stabbed.
in the puppet show.
Right, and he's much bigger than the other mice, and meaner looking, too. He has a sword in his hand, and he's mad. Now, Lamb Chop,
Yes,
if you were Marie,
I am.
with all those mice about to attack, what would you do?
Scream at the top of my lungs. Help!
Well, that's exactly what Marie is thinking of doing. When the Nutcracker says, "Don't worry, Marie. I'll protect you."
How could a Nutcracker say that? It's just wood. Oh, wait a second. I'll bet Dr. Drosselmeyer has something to do with it.
You're right, because Marie sees Drosselmeyer gesture out of the corner of her eye.
Drosselmeyer's in the corner of her eye? I thought he was sitting on the hall clock. That guy gets around.
Lamb Chop, as soon as Drosselmeyer waves his hand, that Nutcracker comes to life. And it's a good thing it does, because at that moment, the Mouse King and his army attack.
Wait a second. What can one little Nutcracker do against a whole army of mice?
Well, Dr. Drosselmeyer gestures again,
Oh, yes.
and all the other toys, the dolls, the tin soldiers, they all come to life too.
Yay!
And what a battle it is! There are mice on the bookshelves and on the lampshade, throwing gumballs at Raggedy Ann. But then the rocking horse cavalry rides to her aid, led by the gingerbread man. A mouse brigade is knocking all the stuffing out of the teddy bear Marie loves the best. But a toy who is bolder climbs on Teddy's shoulder, then attacks down the front of his vest. Three mice are all scampering up the hall clock, but the clock strikes 1 right on the nose. The other two duck, but a toy fire truck ties both mice up with its hose. Well, toy pop guns are popping, and 10 mice are stopping as the Nutcracker rallies his men. But their springs are unwinding and their gears are all grinding as the Mouse King attacks once again. The Nutcracker's fighting 6 mice and can't see him. So Marie throws her shoe at his head. It strikes the Mouse King right between his eyes, and he drops at her feet, and he's dead.
Marie kills the Mouse King?
Yep, and then 4 mice come out of the darkness, and they carry their king away.
To be buried in the walls beside his favorite lump of cheese.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Here lies the Mouse King. This is the end of his tale. You get it? The mouse's tail?
I got it. Can I go on?
Not even a moment of silence.
Well, now something really amazing happens.
Now? You mean the rest of this isn't amazing?
Well, Drosselmeyer claps his hands, and the Nutcracker, who looks like a prince, becomes a prince.
Who looks like a Nutcracker?
No, he looks like a big person, a very handsome big person. And now he walks over to Marie and falls to his knees.
Of course, he's been a nutcracker. Now that he's a person, he doesn't know how to walk.
He takes Marie's hand and
Tries to crack it in his teeth.
Lamb Chop, he's not a nutcracker anymore.
Yeah, well, the change is so sudden, he probably forgot.
The Nutcracker says, Marie, first you were kind to me, and now you've saved my life.
You loved me as a nutcracker. Could you ever possibly love me as a prince? I know I'm handsome and rich, but try to put up with it.
No. He says, will you come away with me to my castle?
And she says it's Christmas Eve, you nutcracker, and it's snowing out.
No. She actually says, dear prince, I'll go anywhere with you.
And she does. And they live happily ever after. What a nice story.
Oh, but it's not over yet.
It isn't. Girl meets Nutcracker, Nutcracker falls for girl, mice attack girl, Nutcracker fights mice, girl saves Nutcracker, they fall in love and live happily ever after. What else could happen?
Where do they live happily ever after?
I don't know. Where?
Ah, well, that's what the second act of the Nutcracker Ballet is all about, where the handsome prince takes Marie away with him to be his princess.
Couldn't they live happily ever after at Marie's house? It's snowing outside, and Marie has a cold, you know.
But he's the prince of Candyland.
He's the prince of candy?
Everything in his land is candy, and when they arrive, it's snowing in his kingdom, but it's not real snow, because this is a ballet, you know, so the snowflakes are ballerinas dressed up like snowflakes, and they twirl and whirl and swirl around Marie and her handsome prince. Now, Lamb Chop, imagine Marie and the prince walking through the magical candy woods on the way to his candy castle.
Candy trees?
Candy trees.
Candy wind?
How can you have candy wind?
How can you have candy trees?
Well,
Look. What's that right there in the light there?
look, a candy fairy, raisin eyes, cherry nose, spearmint breath, cotton candy hair.
What a sight, my goodness, we're in luck. Look, she stuck caramel corn on her underwear.
Chop, with her fairy candy wings, it is no surprise that she flies by you in a flash.
Tootsie Roll legs, cherry pie knees, wonder why she's wearing a mustache.
She's wearing a mustache.
Yeah, it's my imagination.
You're right. She's wearing a mustache.
Okay.
Well, finally they arrive at the prince's castle.
In Candyland.
Yes.
Is the castle really made out of candy?
You should have seen the prince's palace. Everything was candy in 100 rooms. Floors were stained vanilla, ceilings sarsaparilla, chairs were jelly apples, and the stairs were Milky Ways.
The candy maker's name was Alice.
Every evening weaving things on candy looms, covers for the beds in limes and cherry reds.
And mint and tiny traces woven in the royal pillowcases.
All her furniture was sweet and good enough to eat.
It looked like wood, but tasted
The
good.
stools were winners served with dinners. Bathing was a special pleasure. The water in your tub was sweetened to your taste.
But then through your shirt, you smell like a dessert.
And any bear who licked your hair would find you a delight. Marie would savor every treasure. Never let a single moment go to waste. And always she'd remember what happened in December. Once, one night. Well, Lamb Chop, even you cannot imagine the excitement amongst the prince's subjects when he returns to the castle with Marie.
Are his subjects candy?
Sweetest people you'll ever want to meet. And they're thrilled because the prince has been away so long.
Well, he was busy being a Nutcracker.
Yes, but now that he's a prince again, he's brought Marie home with him, and two of his subjects are so excited, they burst into a Spanish dance.
Why a Spanish dance?
Because they're Spanish dancers.
Oh, that's logical.
Spanish music on flamenco guitars.
As the rhythm goes, so do all my toes wriggling and tapping.
I love it! Spanish music on flamenco guitars, quickening my heart.
All my fingers start wriggling and snapping.
Spanish music is a treat for the ear. Listen with your mind, and I think you'll find you can see two dancers appear. Spanish music is a picture you hear of a boy and girl clapping as they whirl.
Stamping as they twirl.
Strong and graceful as a woman can be, castanets are gaily clacking. Spanish ladies are exciting to see, flashing dark and smoldering eyes.
Dancing with the man stamping on the floor.
He looks very much like a matador.
On the music goes.
On the rhythm flows.
Can't control my toes.
Till the music's done.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Spanish dancing, anyone? Well, at the Candy Palace...
A candy palace is a dandy palace, I always say.
You always say that?
Yeah. If you don't like the sofa, eat it.
What would you imagine a sofa taste like?
Turkey.
Turkey? Why?
'Cause it has a stuffing.
And you thought your imagination wasn't good enough.
Thank you.
Well, everyone in the kingdom is so happy to see Marie and the prince that they can't wait to bring them anything they want for dinner.
Anything at all?
Absolutely. The waiters will bring you anything, and immediately.
Are the waiters Spanish too?
No, the dancers were Spanish. The waiters are Russian.
Russian waiters?
Well, you know, Tchaikovsky,
The guy who wrote the music.
Yeah, remember? He was Russian.
Oh, yeah.
Well, these waiters are very good, and they tell her so. Hey, we are Russian waiters, lady. Hey, we are Russian waiters, sir. Have a squash, have a fish. We'll bring what you wish in a tray, in a bowl, in a cup or dish.
Hey, we are Russian waiters, lady. Hey, we are Russian waiters, sir.
Would you like the filet? The filet is okay. It was caught in the bay in a net today.
Hey, we are Russian waiters, Tootsie. Hey, we are Russian waiters, kid.
On a spice or an egg or a nice chicken leg, say you don't have to bake for a ham and cheese.
Hey, we are Russian waiters, baby. Hey, we are Russian waiters, guy.
Quick, very sharp, never sick, and we don't care a lick if you don't say please. Don't tip us a quarter.
Still, we'll bring you water.
And then a dash will arrive with your hash.
With your hash and a flash.
And we'll take your cash, smell that stew a-brewing.
Might as well start chewing.
'Cause before your jaws meet, we will have your supper to your seat. We're fast.
We're Russian.
Just watch us
Russian. We're great.
We're good.
We're great.
We're good.
Never late.
Not wood.
Hey, we are Russian waiters, darling. Hey, we are Russian waiters, Mac.
Want a fruit or a meat or a nut or a sweet? Want the cake or the cook? It's up to you.
Hey, we are Russian waiters, honey. Hey, we are Russian waiters, bud.
In cassette boots and cassette hat, we'll feed you.
Or we'll feed your cat and do it all in nothing flat. Now you can't ask much more than that. And Marie could have anything she wants.
Anything.
Does Marie like Chinese food?
She loves Chinese.
Me too. It's my favorite.
Well, next we have the Chinese dance.
Did
Tchaikovsky.
Yeah, did Mr. Kovsky write this Chinese music too?
Uh-huh.
But he was Russian.
Well, maybe he wrote it in a Chinese restaurant.
Oh, that would explain it.
I guess so.
Of course, in a Chinese restaurant, he should have written chopsticks. Give me chow mein and an egg roll.
Then wonton soup with lots of rice.
I'll eat a Peking duck whole.
And beef with almonds would be nice.
I'd like some noodles and shrimp toast.
Let's wash them down with Chinese tea.
Chicken with chestnuts I love most.
Please share some salt-baked fish with me.
Serve me Chinese by the hour.
There's not a dish I've left untried.
Sliced tongue with cauliflower.
There's not a fish I've left unfried. As long as it is bona fide Chinese, my smile is always wide. So pretty, please serve us Chinese. after dinner, Marie and the prince and all the flowers dance a glorious waltz.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I like to waltz, you say. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, Lamb Chop, Marie has never been happier until,
Oh, don't spoil it.
the prince asks her to marry him.
Oh, and of course, Marie says,
Yes.
phew, what a relief.
And they're married immediately. It's a beautiful wedding.
And they live happily ever after. Ta-da!
Unfortunately, not.
Why?
Because as soon as she's married, Marie realizes that it's all been a dream.
What makes her realize that? How could she tell that it's only a dream?
Because she's only 6.
Too young, huh?
Too young. And so she wakes up.
Darn.
And ever afterwards, Marie can't wait to get to sleep and dream of being a princess, married.
To her prince.
He becomes a memory of childhood, a beautiful memory, in which she waltzes the night away in his arms, while
All the candy people in the Prince's Candy Kingdom watch and applaud.
yes.
Ah.
Well, Lamb Chop, now that you know the story, what do you think of Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker?
Sweet.
Sweet. You're right, it is sweet. Although sometimes it's funny, other times it's scary or pretty. You know, it all depends on what the music makes your imagination do. And everybody imagines it differently.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You mean everybody else who was listed in didn't imagine, like, the Russian waiters being tall and skinny, and...
I don't think so. Goodness, I know I didn't.
What do you mean?
I imagined the Russian waiters being short and plump.
No kidding. Plump. Huh? Well, let's listen to the music again, and maybe this time you'll get it right.
Oh, well, okay. But this time, we won't sing.
No?
No, we'll just imagine.
Imagine what?
Well, remember, the Nutcracker Ballet starts with the overture, and all the guests are just arriving at
Don't tell me.
the march.
Yes, thank you. The march. What happens?
You remember Fritz and his friends? They were all playing soldiers.
Left, right, and the Christmas tree and the toys, they grow big.
And the mice attack.
And the Nutcracker wins and becomes a real prince.
And Marie falls in love with the prince. Finally, Marie and the prince go to his candy kingdom, which brings us to the music originally called The Dance of the Reed Flutes, which we sang as the Prince's Palace. Now we're going to hear the Arabian dance. Before, we used this music to sing about the mice, but in most Nutcracker ballets, they dance to it in Candyland. And when Tchaikovsky wrote the music, he imagined Arabian coffee candies. The next Candyland dance is called the Russian Trepak.
Oh, yeah, that's what we sang as skinny Russian waiters.
Skinny Russian waiters, yeah, right.
I betcha I know what's next.
What?
The Chinese dance.
Good, Lamb Chop.
Good.
Here's a beautiful one, The Waltz of the Flowers.
forgot the Candy Fairy song.
Actually, Lamb Chop, it's called The Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, and in most Nutcracker ballets, it comes after the Waltz of the Flowers. It's a very special dance where the prima ballerina gets to dance all by herself.
On her toe.
Her toes.
Oh, she dances on all of them? all of them at the same time.
Yes.
And then Marie and the Nutcracker prince get married, and everyone in Candyland lives happily ever after. The end. Right?
Well, the only thing left is the grand finale.